Eagles legend coaching the Cowboys? Not in a million years. Today, we're diving into the Dallas drama that's got everyone talking. From Mike McCarthy's uncertain future to a hilarious on-air moment that set the sports world on fire, this is the Cowboys story you won't believe. Stick around to find out why one former NFL star would rather eat his own helmet than coach for Jerry Jones. The rivalry is real, folks, and we've got all the juicy details. You won't want to miss this. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. Let's kick things off with the man of the hour, Mike McCarthy, the current head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, in the NFL, entering the final year of your contract as a head coach is like walking a tightrope without a safety net. It's a precarious position that often leads to speculation, uncertainty, and a whole lot of media attention. And that's exactly where McCarthy finds himself right now. You'd think that after leading the team to back-to-back 12-win seasons, McCarthy would be sitting pretty, maybe even discussing a contract extension. But this is the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about, folks. Things are never that simple in Jerry world. The Cowboys front office has made it crystal clear there will be no contract extension for McCarthy. At least, not yet. This decision has sent shockwaves through the NFL community. It's like the Cowboys are telling McCarthy, "Sure, you've done well, but what have you done for us lately?" And by lately, they mean in the playoffs. Because let's face it, regular season wins are great, but in Dallas, it's all about those shiny Super Bowl rings. Now, this lack of job security for McCarthy has naturally led to rampant speculation about who might be next in line to lead America's team. And this is where our story takes an unexpected and hilarious turn, courtesy of a recent segment on NFL on ESPN. Picture this. You've got a panel of NFL experts, including Field Yates, Laura Rutledge, Adam Schefter, and former NFL cornerback and head coach, Herm Edwards. They're discussing the Cowboys' upcoming season, the pressure on McCarthy, and potential replacements if things go south. Pretty standard stuff, right? But then, Field Yates decides to spice things up a bit. In what can only be described as a moment of journalistic daring, or perhaps temporary insanity, Yates turns to Herm Edwards and asks if he'd consider coaching the Dallas Cowboys. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with Herm Edwards' playing career, let me paint you a picture. Edwards spent 9 years as a cornerback in the NFL, with the majority of that time spent with the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you know anything about NFL rivalries, you know that the Eagles and the Cowboys get along about as well as cats and dogs at a water park. Edwards' reaction to Yates' question was nothing short of spectacular. He practically leaped out of his chair, his eyes wide with disbelief, as he exclaimed, "You can't say that to an Eagles player." It was as if Yates had just suggested that cheesesteaks were overrated or that Rocky was a mediocre movie. In Philadelphia, them's fighting words. The moment was so intense, so charged with the electricity of decades-old rivalry, that Laura Rutledge had to step in and make sure Edwards was okay. But our man Herm wasn't done yet. Oh no, he was just getting started. To really drive his point home, Edwards reached down and pulled out an Eagles helmet from his playing days. Holding it up like a shield against the very idea of coaching the Cowboys, he declared, "You see this? These guys, Eagles, don't like the Cowboys. They don't like the Cowboys." The emphasis in his voice made it clear this wasn't just a sports rivalry. This was a fundamental clash of identities. It was a moment that perfectly encapsulated the deep-seated animosity between these two storied franchises. This wasn't just about football, it was about pride, history, and the very soul of two cities that have been battling it out on the gridiron for decades. Adam Schefter, never one to miss out on a good quip, chimed in to say that Yates' comment was the journalistic equivalent of a fumble. And boy, was he right. Yates had unknowingly stepped right into the middle of one of the NFL's most heated rivalries, and the result was television gold. But let's take a step back from this hilarious exchange and look at the bigger picture. Why were they discussing potential replacements for McCarthy in the first place? Well, it all comes down to the Cowboys' performance, particularly in the playoffs. Before the Herm Edwards incident, the former Kansas City Chiefs head coach had some serious thoughts about the state of the Dallas franchise. He pointed out that the team seems to lack a winning mentality in the playoffs, a criticism that's hard to argue with given their recent postseason performances. The Cowboys haven't hoisted the Lombardi Trophy in 29 years. Let that sink in for a moment. 29 years. That's almost 3 decades of disappointment, unfulfilled expectations, and countless this-is-our-year predictions that never quite panned out. Edwards painted a vivid picture of Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, constantly hearing a nagging voice in his head. "It's been 29 years, Jerry, 29 years. Can you imagine the pressure? For a franchise that bills itself as America's team, for an owner who's never shy about expressing his desire to win, 29 years must feel like an eternity." But the issues facing the Cowboys go beyond just their playoff performances. Edwards also highlighted the team's quiet offseason, which has raised eyebrows around the league. Despite having star players like Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb waiting for contract extensions, the team hasn't made many significant moves. Prescott, the team's quarterback and offensive leader, is entering the final year of his contract. Parsons, their defensive phenom, is eligible for an extension. And Lamb, their top receiver, is also due for a new deal. These are cornerstone players, the kind of talents you build a franchise around. Yet, as of now, their long-term futures with the team remain uncertain. This inactivity has led Edwards and others to speculate that if things don't go well this season, we might see a complete roster overhaul in Dallas. It's a high-stakes gamble by the Cowboys' front office. They're essentially saying, prove it on the field, and then we'll talk contracts. But this strategy comes with significant risks. In the modern NFL, with its salary cap complexities and free agency, keeping a talented core together is crucial for sustained success. By leaving these key players in contract limbo, the Cowboys run the risk of creating uncertainty and potentially discord in the locker room. Moreover, this approach puts enormous pressure on McCarthy and his coaching staff. Not only do they have to navigate the usual challenges of an NFL season, but they're also doing so with the added stress of knowing that their jobs and potentially the entire roster could be on the line if they don't deliver in the playoffs. So, what do you think about the Cowboys situation? Do you believe McCarthy can lead this team to playoff success? Should they have extended their star players already? And who would you like to see coach the Cowboys if not McCarthy, besides Herm Edwards, of course? Let us know in the comments below. That's the end of today's video. I will see you guys in the next video. If you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe the channel for more upcoming videos.